If a higher status man, oh, here you go. If a higher status man wants to have 3 to 4 kids with the same woman, does spinning plates until 35 still make sense? Yes. If they maximize their potential, what risks come with trying to perfectly time starting a family versus risk potential? Okay, I think a lot of people, what's your name? What is saying? What is Ian? um, if a man wants to have 3 to 4 kids with a woman, if you want to have 3 to 4 kids with a woman, then you need to start a whole lot earlier than 35. I'll just give you that. If you know this already, then I would suggest you have to start a little bit earlier. Most guys don't very few guys go, you know what? I'm going to have 3 to 4 kids. It's usually women who are like saying, I want to have 3 to 4 kids, right? I mean, it's a great idea, but if that's the case, you have to start earlier. And what happens at that point is you've got the burden of vetting, the burden of being a good judge of women's character is accelerated at that point. Like when I say, you can spin plates. I'm honestly in the first book when I'm talking about plate theory, I've said this. I didn't say 35, but I say, when a man gets to be like 30, you shouldn't even consider monogamy until you're 30. Okay. Now I'm on record as having said that. And the only reason that's not a prescription. That's just a suggestion. That seems to me, Aristotle might agree. It seems to me that's optimal, because first off, if you're in your 20s, you're probably, if you're good looking enough, you're probably going to get tail. You're probably going to fuck some chicks when you're in your even Gen X, me, most of them, I would say most, if not all of my notch count was between the ages of, let's see, I got laid. My first time I got laid, I was 17. And then I met my wife. I married my wife at 28. So almost 10 years. So within that 10-year window right there, a little more than that. The vast majority of my notch count was between the ages of say 21 and 27, so 26, 27. So spinning plates, assuming that you're able to do that. And again, I know people lose their fucking minds when I say spinning plates. Date non-exclusively. Can you do that? Can we call it that? Does it make you feel better when I say that? Date non-exclusively. Do not commit to any one woman during that time. And for most guys, that's not hard, because most guys aren't fucking anyways. 80% of guys they would love to most guys between 18 and say 24, 25 would love to lock down a hot piece of ass who's 23, 24 years old. That's why they get so pissed off when they see someone like me or they see someone like Mike poaching their chicks. Generationally poaching their chicks. I think Mike would certainly be the latter part of the millennials, if not a Gen Xer. I forget where the Gen X cutoff was. Anyways, I'm Gen X, right? So if a guy's 50 and he's poaching girls that are in their mid 20s, 26, 27, something like that, I can understand why Zoomers would get really pissed off and would try to find, those guys are old and cringy. Yeah, but the women are still getting with them, or somewhat older. I'm not saying 50, right? Maybe it could be in their 30s. But as far as spinning plates is concerned, it's dating non-exclusively. And I will reiterate one more time, that is a 6-chapter series in the first book that ends with transitioning into monogamy. That everybody thinks that plate theory, Rollo wants you to fuck anything on 2 legs. Now that you clearly did not read the series, because the last series is transitioning from being, and this is where I get into that, the 30-year mark, is transitioning from spinning plates and dating non-exclusively into monogamy, and using your experience to make better choices as a result of that. And to also understand, I know, Myron tried to explain this to Andrew Wilson at one point when we were talking about, he was Myron will talk about how, don't get married or don't get a girlfriend until you fuck 50 chicks, right? Well, I'm fucked, because if it's banging chicks, then it's I'm only at 41. But who knows? CDC says it's blowjobs too. So, but no, it's a roundabout, and everybody fixates on that number. I think I'm not 50. I don't either. So I guess I better divorce my wife and go bang 9 more chicks before I can get married again, right? No, it's developing a good judge of character. It's understanding the nature of women, and the only way you can really do that is to experience it and deal with it and enjoy it, right? So when I'm talking about plate spinning, it's dating non-exclusively. Do you have to fuck every plate you're spinning? No. The potential should be there, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to. I had a guy recently on Minect ask me, Rolo, I'm a devout Catholic, and I understand the importance of the red pill. I completely on board with everything you're saying, but like, how do I go about being a Catholic and, not fucking, no premarital sex? Well, if that's the case, you can still date non-exclusively. Doesn't mean you're fucking these girls, right? You're still exercising those skills. You're playing the game on hard mode. Let's be honest, but you still need to develop an understanding of like what it is that's acceptable for you and what's not acceptable for you. Like that one guy, I'm about to read you a case study here in just a moment. But if you remember the intro video where it's the black couple there, where the guy was reading from the script saying, I tried to have sex with you 365 times this year or whatever it was, and here's how you turned me. I was successful 36 times. 36 times in a year? What, twice a month? Not even that. 1.5 times a month? That's a sexless marriage, my friend. So, and we laugh at that and joke around. Oh, I've got a headache. Oh, I'm pretending to sleep, blah, blah, blah. That's why if you are a Catholic or Christian or whatever it is, or even Muslim, right? You don't believe in premarital sex. That makes it that much more incumbent upon you to be more red pill, to be more discerning, because your margin for error is it. Okay, well, I can only fuck if I've married this girl. Well, your margin for error is way, way tighter than a guy who's like, yeah, I'm into sport fucking, right? Yeah, I'm going to spin plates, like spin plates, right? That guy has a much looser margin for error than you do, because you are basically betting your life on your understanding of women's nature based on spinning plates, like chastely, I guess, like ethically. It's not impossible to do. You can, but understand the purpose of it. One of the things that I think got lost in the conversation with Myron and Andrew Wilson about this was, it's not just about learning the nature of women. It's also protecting yourself against oneitis, the soulmate myth, over like catching feelings. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like over investing, because that's what most guys will do. You want to know why plate spinning and dating non-exclusively is such an imperative in the red pill, has been for a while. It's not just, we're going to go and see if we're going to measure our egos by our fucking notch count. That's not what plate theory. That's not the function of plate theory. Your ego is not measured. Plate theory, I will challenge you to find any part of any of those 6 chapters in my first book about plate theory. You will not find one instance where I'm saying measure your dick by how many chicks you fucked, because that shouldn't be a metric. That's not a moral thing. That's a practical thing. Because if I can go, I'm living in Nevada, man. I can call up a fucking, in-call, out-call, escort, whatever. I can legally, I could go fuck. I could certainly go get the 9 I'm supposed to get. I could do that, but does that mean I'm learning? Does that mean I have good game? Like if a guy fucks 300 hookers, is that the same as like the guy who like has the skills and the game and the good looks and the charm and everything else that goes on, who didn't have to pay, technically didn't have to pay for it, and he fucked 300 girls? No. So it shouldn't be like putting your girl should not be the measure of your ego, much less your gauge for success when it comes to like learning game or whatever else. It's not a dick measuring contest, which is what everybody wants to characterize it as. And the reason why it's important is because most guys are in a state of sexual deficit. They don't have the opportunity to fuck chicks. So when an opportunity finally comes along, and when their ship fucking comes in and some chick spreads her leg, finally some girl wants to fuck me, such as it is, right? They will latch on to that. They will fall in love with that. They will move heaven and earth to fuck that chick. I could tell you fucking stories of when I was like 17, 18 years old that would just like, you guys would like unsubscribe right now. I could get into the stories. You want me to get into the stories? I could get into the stories. People think, oh, Roll, you've always been red pill, blah, blah, blah. No, not at all. I got here because I did everything wrong. I was very much blue pill, very much like, I don't say simp because it wasn't really simping back then, not in the way that we think of it now, but definitely move heaven and earth, right? And why was that? Because it was the first chick that ever fucking sucked. It was the first girl who ever like wanted to have sex with me, and it was fucking great. And I would do anything for that sweet, sweet. And then I realized, she started cheating on me, and blah. This is my first girl. And that's when, and at that point, I was like, okay, I like this, and I want more of this. And I live in Hollywood, or I live in Los Angeles, and I'm putting a band together, and I'm going to go enjoy myself for my 20s. That's exactly what I did. But I had options. Most guys don't have options. Most guys don't get to get into the ice cream store to lick the ice cream. So they fixate and they get oneitis, and they get really attached, to oneitis is the soulmate, right? And so as a result of that, they make very, very life damaging bad decisions for themselves. This is all in the first book. I don't know why I'm explaining this. It's the first fucking chapter in the first book. The spinning plates is, yeah, you want to get skills. If you want to use it to fuck girls, then that's fine. But it's really meant to date non-exclusively, so you can better judge women's character, but also so that you have experience with women. And also, if you have an abundance of women, it lessens the probability that you're going to fixate on one special girl because she was the first one to suck your dick.